It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That's Dokken from the Greatest Hits re-record. We're bouncing all over the place here, Chris. But anyway, that is Dokken from the Greatest Hits re-recorded, and that's called Almost Over, a very apocalyptic song, in my opinion, and a guy who's, well, he lives his life like the apocalypse will be tomorrow. My good friend Chris Aiken. What's going on, Chris?
Well, I'm on backup power here tonight, so we might have a couple of initial technical things, but...
What do you mean you're on backup power? Why? What's the problem?
My main computer took a shit at 4 o'clock this afternoon. I didn't know it until literally 8:30.
Is that right?
Yeah, just the fucking hard drive died.
Is the one you just built?
The one I just built.
Oh, did you use a used hard drive?
It was in the computer. I mean, it was in a closet when I built it. So,
so it's an old hard drive.
No, it's a 2 terabyte. I mean, it's fairly new. It's just a computer we weren't using. So I had taken it because it's a desktop and I use almost all laptops. Right. I had kind of taken it out and put it in a closet, but I plugged it in and rebuilt it for the show, and already it takes a shit.
Took a dump on you.
Yeah, so literally at 8:45, I was scrambling, putting my backup laptop in place. So
hey, you sound fine.
That's why we were bouncing. Well, we were bouncing back and forth because I had the input plugged into the wrong place.
I gotcha. Well, it's all straightened out now, right?
Sounds like it. As long as you don't hear anything bad, it sounds good to me.
No, I don't hear a thing that's bad.
All right, good.
Well, that just goes to show you. Yesterday, I was out in Kansas City on my way home, and I let you talk to one of my professional colleagues yesterday.
Yeah, she seemed very professional.
And she, like the rest of a lot of our audience, don't realize that we're close to 400 miles apart.
I know. That's what she was saying. I can't believe that you guys don't do it. What'd she say? I can't believe you don't come and do it in his basement or something.
I was telling her that I had plans on relocating.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, what does that mean for your show? I said, what do you mean? She says, well, how are you going to do your show? I said, like I always do it. Yeah. And she said, well, isn't your partner, where you sit face to face? I said, no, he's in Cleveland. Oh, well, I thought you guys were in the same room. I thought he just came over and you guys did the show in the basement or something.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
So, of course, I had to go through the abridged technology explanation as to how this all works. But,
right.
Because we've been doing it so long, it's unnoticeable.
It is now. I mean, it was definitely noticeable in the early days, but through you buying equipment and Skype getting better and both of us upgrading our internet and doing all the steps we needed to, now it sounds pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's really good. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but I adjusted the de-esser, and it's taken out any kind of hiss at all. So when you listen back, you don't hear any hissing.
I did notice that. I don't know if you noticed it, but I increased the B-esser. We're getting a lot more of that out of me.
Sure. I'm always trying to improve. I'm striving to improve the show and the sound wherever I can.
That's right.
Well, anyway, tonight, I was kind of excited to do the show tonight just because it's a big release for me.
Sure.
And I've been traveling all week, and I was looking forward to coming home and just kind of hanging out in my, as you term it, the man palace.
The palatial estate. Right,
the palatial estate, and I was just like, what, I love doing this show. Almost after 20 years, I still love doing this show.
You think you'd love doing the show if you actually liked your job?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Would you like it as much, or would you?
No, I don't really think it. I don't really think it's job related. I just think it's just a part of me,
Sure.
Because obviously, when you bailed on the show a few years ago, I didn't give it up.
No, you needed it.
So it was just something I had to do, or I liked doing, and right. Since your return, it's only just gotten better.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm definitely regretting those 2.5 years.
Well, you had business to take care of in the household.
Yeah, exactly. I had to make my life even more miserable for 2.5 more years.
Right. Well, the thing is, and the other thing is, and this is a compliment to you, is you're going back through the archives and just highlighting certain shows.
Sure.
Because, that prompts me to listen again. I mean, obviously it's available to anybody who wants to listen to it any time. Mm-hmm. But when somebody, it's just kind of like TV, if your favorite show is on Thursday at 8,
yeah,
you'll watch it Thursday at 8. But if you have the opportunity to check out your favorite show anytime you want, you're not so urgent about doing it. It's like, I'll catch it tomorrow. I got busy. I'll catch it, whatever. Mm-hmm. So it sort of like spurs you on to say, let's check this out. Let's listen to this.
Yeah, dude, some of the stuff from 2008 and 2009, God damn, were we hitting home runs?
Yeah, well, and that's when you pulled the plug.
Yeah, that's right. When did I leave? 2010?
End of 2009.
Yeah. I think it was one show into 10.
Yeah, that was it. And you're just like, and I still have your email, by the way.
I'm sure you do. You should read it someday.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Sure.
Fun to read what a whiny pussy I was.
Hail and kill caller, you're on the air.
Hey, it's John.
John, I haven't spoken to you in almost a month. I missed you, pal.
Hey, thank you very much. I fucking miss you guys, man. Hey, I'll say this. I can't fucking talk to you guys because we're playing every night.
Oh, God damn it, John. You know what? This is the reason why we can't have a relationship, a bromance, because you're always fucking busy. I'm here at the house just waiting for you to call, and you don't call because you're off gigging with your friends. I think you should play Beth for me.
Yeah. No, hey, I realize that. Hey, I'm fucking jamming with my buddies, and fucking we got shows every Saturday night now. So I just want to say hello. I really want to say hello. I love you guys. I fucking miss you guys. I fucking think of the shit. That's it. Good night, man.
I feel neglected, John. I really do. I feel neglected. John, I hear you calling, but I can't come home right now, 'cause me and the boys are playing.
Hey, fuck you, pal. Here's yours.
All right, John, I haven't really missed you much.
I like John.
Yep, that's good. You do.
He's a character. A character. Well, anyway, in fact, I was thinking about this book I'm supposed to be putting together with you.
Yeah, we got to get that started here in a couple months.
I think your email is going to be part of the book.
That's fine.
I think that's kind of a pivotal point, or just a bump in the road, as it were.
Sure.
So I think, that email is going to be part of the book.
And if asked, I'll write around it if you want.
Sure.
I'll absolutely write, and I will absolutely be honest. And, just like with little victories, I don't care if it makes me look bad.
Well, I don't think there's any looking bad involved here.
Oh, there's looking bad with that.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I just think it's a situation, not one that's enviable, that people would go, God damn it, Chris, I'd trade places with you any day.
Oh, no, nobody ever wanted that fucking problem.
So I don't think it's going to make you look bad. You were just trying to do whatever it took to maintain.
The interesting thing for me is that I can't really talk about that time frame.
Yeah, but I can.
You can. I can just kind of...
But it's my book, though.
Well, no, in your book, you can. In your book, you can. That's now I'm just thinking out loud, I guess, and it's like, yeah, maybe there's not a whole lot I can offer.
Well, I can offer my, and again, it's my book, so it's my viewpoint and my perspective, and I have your email, which was addressed to me.
Yeah, no, believe me, go right ahead.
And I think that's going to be part of my book.
Right, the centerpiece.
It ain't going to be the centerpiece, but it definitely is going to be a large part of it.
Sure, I would think so.
Because the trials and tribulations of keeping the Classic Metal Show alive for,
20 years?
Well, no, basically during that 30-month period.
Yeah.
Was difficult because of all the other things that were going on with me.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you were having shifts, then my shit was going on. Ooh.
Yeah, so, it's going to be part of the book.
All right. Cool. I can't wait to feel bad again.
No, it's just fact.
No, it's all good. Dude, you know I'm good with it.
Sure.
I'm fine with it.
Sure. Well, anyway, prior to the show tonight, I got a call from my good friend and your employer, Mr. Dokken. Yeah.
Time to talk Dokken.
Exactly. I should play that bumper because I haven't played that. I haven't played that in a long time.
Yeah, I think we need to hear that.
Yeah. Let me pull it up real quick so I can tell you exactly what's in store for the listeners tonight.
It used to be a rule that you couldn't mention that name without
Yeah,
playing.
I know. It's been a while since I played it. Where is it? Neeley.
So we hardly talk about any bands.
Well, we talked about that earlier today, or not today, but
yesterday.
Here we go, right here.
Hey, it's been 5 minutes, and it's time now for Neeley to Talk Dokken on the Classic Metal Show.
Well, anyway, I've been trying to get Don to join us on the show for the last few weeks.
Sure.
And for some reason, there's always been a scheduling problem, and he was in El Paso last Saturday. I was going to have him come on last Saturday, and he was just like, I'm playing a show in El Paso. How about the following week?
All right.
And I'm just like, yeah, I don't think we have anything, any guests.
Nope.
So the phone lines are open. So, like I told you yesterday, I contacted him, sent him an email and a text, and he called me earlier and said, yeah, me and my chick, we're going out to dinner and we're going to do this and that. And then why don't you call me at 10 o'clock Pacific time?
All right.
So, at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific, we'll talk to Don, and he's like, yeah, I'll hang out with you guys. We'll talk about whatever you want.
All right. I'm going to talk about nailing fucking underage pussy tonight. Don Dokken.
Right.
Sounds good.
So as you know, Don and which is kind of funny, Don and our good friend Bob Nalbandian seem to have become close friends now.
Yeah, after Bob badmouthed him.
And he's in the upcoming movie Inside Metal, the hard rock and metal scene, early hard rock and metal scene,
Sure.
75 through 80, and I guess Don was at the one of the premiere parties the other night, Thursday,
Right.
and he was there, and I guess Bob's going to have him back on his TV show, his TRadioV.
Right.
Is that
I think that's how you say it. TRadioV.
Yeah,
Or
it's a
TRadioV or something.
Yeah, it's TV with radio in the middle.
Yeah, TRadioV, I guess.
Yeah. So he's going to be on his show like next week or something.
That's cool.
So yeah, Bob making fast friends with our fast friends.
Well, why not? And doing it the same way we do. We badmouth them and then we're friendly to them.
Sure.
Remember, weren't we accused of that before?
Yeah.
Like Jennifer?
Yeah, we did. But yeah, we were. Oh, I'm still waiting for that show dedicated to us, by the way.
She's put a lot of time and effort into it, I'm sure.
Sure. Well, anyway, Don is going to call tonight later, and we're going to talk to him and see what he's up to and talk about anything he wants to.
Ask him if he's ever put a contract hit on anybody.
Hey, we need to talk about that because they toured with AC/DC.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe Don put him in touch with the guys that he was trying to put the hit out on.
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's definitely a lot of things in my mind I'm going to talk to Don about.
Okay.
So if you're listening to the show tonight and you want to have some questions or something, or if there's something you want to know and you want me to ask Don, just send us an email at request@theclassicmetalshow.com, and I'll be glad to ask it for you.
Yeah, you can tweet it at CMS requests.
True. That's true, too.
However you want to get it to him. If you got a question, go ahead.
Yeah, so he said, yeah, I'm excited about being on. It's been a while since I've come on the show, so let's talk.
All right. Well, I'm in.
I'm all in for that. So,
play any other songs but Dokken songs tonight?
That's right. It'll be all Dokken all night.
Jesus, holy shit, 7 Dokken songs in one night? Since we don't play much more music than that anymore.
That is true. Well,
did we say we played 9 songs last week?
I think so. But you know what? Speaking of the show last week, you and I kind of discussed this a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought, even though last week's show wasn't a lot of funny ha-ha,
yeah,
I thought it was a solid show.
Yeah, I thought it was real good.
Because we covered a lot of hot button topics, and I thought our perspective on a lot of these things were, I wish more people would have the perspective that we do, and that's just like everybody else. If people think like I do, then everything would be great.
Right.
But
the sad part is that people do think like we do, but they're just too afraid to say it.
Yeah, and that's what, if anything positive comes from listening to the Classic Metal Show where our listeners are concerned,
yeah.
I would like to embolden them to step up out of the shadows and don't be afraid and just say what's on your mind. I mean, don't kowtow to the political correctness of today's standards, because that's what's just ruining this country.
That's what I think, too. Very much so.
Jackal One, good show last week.
Yeah.
That's like the same compliment he got. Great Judas Priest record.
Get Nalbandian. I turn on the CMS and I hear my name. What the fuck? Don't Chris and Neeley have anything better to talk about? No, Bob, we don't.
Yeah.
Whenever we're talking about fucking teenage rapists, you're the first name that comes up, and that's why we're talking about you.
Right.
All right, pedo?
Right.
Shut up.
It's Bob Nalbandian all day, all night.
That's right.
On the Classic Metal Show.
Don't you think that Bob enjoys raping little kids?
I don't think so. I'm not going to say that.
I think Bob does.
Nah, I know. I've met Bob. I know Bob. He's a good dude. I like him.
That's his cover.
Nah, I don't think so.
You don't think that trying to be manly is just his beard way of fucking hiding his homosexuality?
Well, what is it? Is it being homosexual or is it being pedophile?
He's like a priest. He likes 10-year-old altar boys.
All right, so that's not being homosexual. Or I guess it's both.
That's
then.
being a homosexual.
I guess you're right. You're right. It's both.
He likes to suck the 10-year-old dick with no hair on it, nice and smooth as it rubs across his chin.
Why are you degrading our good friend Bob like that?
Because he dared to step in the chat room and say anything even remotely negative.
Hey, Bob, I think you should get on the phone, 800-497-5891, because I think you need to straighten out Mr. Aiken, seriously.
Bob knows what's up. A little boy's dick.
Wow. Damn. Why are you doing that to our friend Bob? Why?
I'm just in a silly mood.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just in a silly mood.
Well, I heard from our good friend the V today.
Yes.
She called me.
Okay.
And she went to the premiere out there in L.A. Thursday, and she was out there, and she got to hang out. And she said she really loved the movie.
Okay.
She said, but the sound quality, it was probably the venue, but she said the sound quality, she said she had to put her fingers in her ears because it was just blowing her right out of the theater.
It was too loud?
It was way too loud. She said it was just overpowering.
And she heard herself on the phone.
No, she called me today.
No, I'm saying because she's so fucking overpowering.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But she went out to the premiere, and she got to say hello to Bob and hang out with different people, and et cetera, et cetera. So, is that you, Bob?
That is.
Bob, why would you allow Chris to talk about you like that?
Well, what are you trying to say? Was he saying something bad about me?
Well, he crossed my line, Bob. When it comes to my good friends and colleagues, he crossed my line, pal.
Oh, well, dude, thank you for sticking up for me there, Mr. Neeley.
Well, Bob, how is the Inside Metal project coming along? You did your premiere show Thursday, and I talked to Miss Veronica today, and she said that there were some audio issues. Is that true, or was it too loud, or what? She said it was just really loud at points.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. We did turn it up because people were talking, and people kept telling me, hey, I can't hear, because people in the back weren't able to hear. So I guess maybe it depended where you were. So I told the sound guy, I said, dude, can you turn it up? People are complaining that too many people are, talking and they can't hear. So, it was a party atmosphere. We had a bar, so people were drinking, and, it was kind of a party element. And it was a 3-room place. It's a bitchin' place, man. It's place called The Attic. It used to be CineSpace on Hollywood Boulevard. It's like a big screening room, and then they have a whole other room with a full bar. The screening room's got a full bar. Then you have a separate room, which is like an outdoor smoking patio. So, it gets a little loud in there. But
I apologize to the V if there were any audio issues.
Sure. Now, people talking during a movie, I didn't know heavy metal attracted black people.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
All right. That was Neeley that said that, by the way, not Chris Aiken.
That wasn't me.
Surprise.
I didn't say that. Shit.
Holy, listen to you.
You know what?
Holy
I will
shit,
say something funny, though.
Like you're shocked by that, please.
I'm very offended.
Yeah, stop it already. All right, go ahead, Bob.
Oh, no, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Nothing.
I'll say something.
Go ahead, Chris.
Neeley, did you realize that while there's been a lot of promotion for the Inside Metal project, none is bigger than the promotion Bob is getting this week?
Well, how would I know that if it hasn't happened yet?
Because he's scheduled to be, and I know for a fact it's going to happen, he will be the featured guest on the Streets of Rock and Roll with special guest host me.
Oh, I forgot when that was going to air. So that's this week's edition?
Yeah, it comes out Thursday.
All right. And then I hear, Bob, that you are also going to be a guest on the V Takeover show in December here on the CMS.
Apparently, that's what she kept telling me. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Wow, look
but
at
I
you!
guess
You're
she's
a popular
coming back
guy.
up to LA.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, I guess she drove down from Phoenix or wherever she lives in Arizona just to come out on Thursday, and she headed back the next morning, and she's coming back down again next week. So,
Bob, what did you think of the guy wearing the Nazi paraphernalia right next to her?
Yeah, I know. She was complaining and bitching about that guy. Yeah, I got the German with me, so I can't go. We can't go out to breakfast the next morning. We can't do this. I got the German with me. I'm like, okay. So.
And you didn't say they serve potato pancakes at this breakfast house we're going to go to. Bring him along.
Now, I had my own German buddy with me. My buddy John Sternansky was there, so I introduced them, and they, hung out and talked German together. So
sure.
Goebbels, Himmler, Goebbels.
The Zyklon B is back in the closet. Help yourself.
That was Neeley, by the way. Okay.
Yeah,
I just thought I should point that out.
Right. Well, Bob, tell us about your new TV show. Tell us how that works. Chris and I, as you know, discussed it a little bit at the beginning of the show last week. But since I have you on the phone, how does that work? How does that setup work? I mean, obviously this studio situation that you're broadcasting your internet TV show on isn't a very professional setup because, I was noticing some of the equipment, and because I own some of it, I know the cost of that stuff. So this is no kind of a hacky joint at all. This is someplace that's a very professional setup. So tell us a little bit. Is it TRadioV? Is that how you say it, or how?
Yeah, exactly. TRadioV. I didn't name it. It's just the name of the show. But as you say, it's supposed to be like radio in TV.
Sure. I get that. I get that. So how does that work, and where do you do this? And give us the whole logistics of it.
Well, I mean, what you said is true. I mean, it's completely professional. I mean, they got the studio there with fantastic equipment. You can have up to 6 people in there, and it's they have whole offices, production room, and everything. I mean, they definitely put a lot of money into it. And the guy Mike that runs the place is awesome. He's great. And how it came about, I told Chris last time. I knew one of the girls that worked there, Valerie Sutter, who came out to our rough screening back in June, and she loved the film and was super supportive. And she said she was going to get us on the show, but they were kind of fluctuating. They didn't really have a rock metal show at the time. They had one guy that was more into the heavier stuff, the more hardcore metal that didn't really fit. He had left, so she was trying to set up someone to interview me. She said, she talked to the owner and said, "Hey, man, let's just get Bob to do his own show, to do like his own metal show." And they said we could call it Inside Metal to promote the film, and just basically, she said, "You got carte blanche to do what you want if you want to do it." And I said, "Fuck yeah, I'll do it." So she gave me a show. It's on. They gave me a show every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It'll be streaming live on TRadioV.com, and then after that, later that night, they usually put it together as where you could just stream it live at any time on demand. So it's pretty cool. I had, as John Bush was my first guest a couple weeks ago, and then Last Tuesday, I had Bernie K from Sound Barrier and Willie Bass from Black Sheep, both as guests. And this coming Tuesday, Mr. Dokken will be a guest on the show.
Yeah, he's
going
to
be
be
on the invite to both Chris and Neeley. Anytime they're in L.A. on the Tuesday, they want to come down, be a part of the show. Open invitation.
Nice.
Oh, you'll be canceled long before we make it there.
I think that might happen.
Well, Bob, how does this place make money? How do they make money on this?
You know, I don't know much about it. I know they got a bunch of sponsors, but they don't. When I watch it, I only see advertisements for their own shows on there. So, but they do have like a sponsor page. So I assume. In fact, I know they do have sponsorships that are involved in it. I don't know to what extent or what they do, but they definitely. I mean, everything about it is super pro. I mean, it's a beautiful studio right in Hollywood on Santa Monica Boulevard, and you know, they got great people that the real pros that edit everything. And it's awesome because it's super together. Because you know me, I have no technical experience at all. For me, doing the podcast and just having to post and put it up. All I have to do is show up, do the show. They do 100% of the production. They just say, give me songs. We do that little song contest at the end. So I edit little snippets from classic metal tunes for that and give it to them. And then, if I have pictures to show up, I just give it to them. And they, boom, it's set up. And it's great for me because I just come and do the show and do it. So like Chris says, we'll see how long it'll last.
Sure.
But they seem to like it. They say it's great, and they definitely needed a metal show. I guess Ricky Rackman used to do a show on there. I don't know if it was all hard rock and metal. I know he did a show with a couple other people, but I guess they touched on a lot of rock bands and stuff. What's his name from Jane's Addiction? Dave Navarro's got a show. Andy Dick's got a show on there. Michael DeBars has a show on there. So they got a lot of cool shows and stuff on there, and they got a lot of sex chicks and porn stars and shit that do shows. So it's not all rock and metal. It's just all, it's just basically like a talk radio, TV radio station,
right.
online. So
well,
it's a cool thing. I dig it.
I agree. It's a very cool thing, but from a business perspective, I have a hard time understanding where the revenue comes from, and just looking at the brief setup that I could see. Obviously the space and the equipment. I mean, just those Electro Voice mics that they have set up there, those things with the shock mount, those are $500 a piece. Just the mic is $500 a piece. So I know the rest of the recording equipment and the computerization and the software and the processing equipment and all that. They got literally probably. I'm going to guess. I guess I don't know the size of this complex or building or space that they have.
It's a big sized place, actually.
So they definitely have at least $500,000 or more wrapped up just in equipment.
I would think. I don't know. I don't know much about the business end. Like I said, apart from I know they do get sponsors, and I'm sure they have a lot of investors that put up for this, and I do see it. I mean, I got turned on to the show, I guess, about a year ago when Ozzy Osbourne was a guest, and I had heard about it. I don't know, some publicist, I got a press release or something about it. And then I like, wow, this is fucking cool. I checked out some of the other shows, and I'm like, this is a great idea. And I said, I think this will really catch on. So I'm sure it's in the building stages, and once they get it going, they will probably do some kind of more advertisements or some kind of a sponsorships or live some kind of shows to raise more capital and revenue. It's kind of like when a radio station first starts, or when MTV first came out. I don't know if you remember way back in 81, 82, it was commercial free.
Right.
And it just built up the audience, and then after the audience gets built in, just a new radio station, they advertise commercial free just to get people in. And then once that happens, they start doing advertisements and stuff. I don't know if it's going to be something similar with this, but it is still fairly new. Actually, the Ozzy thing wasn't a year ago. It was probably about 6 months ago when, or a few months back when I saw that. So I think it's a pretty new thing.
Sure.
So we'll see, man. I mean, it's a cool thing. I dig it. The great people over there, and they've given the great thing, like what we always talk about, which is as important to me as it is important to you guys. Is there's no censorship, you know?
Right.
They say you could do your show, do what you want, and you know, and it's great. There's no editing. It just goes straight through, and there's no restrictions as far as pretty much, you know, what, you know, the material I do, and you know, who I invite as guests, and what I you know, how I do the show. I mean, as long as it does good and people like it, and they seem to like it so far. So, you know, it's a cool thing. So, yeah, I'm taking over that metal show, dude.
Nice. Well, there obviously there's no, you know, monetary remuneration for you doing your show. You know, you just go in there and do it, right?
Yeah, at this point, I mean, they said again, once sponsorship comes in, and I don't know how that works. I guess once I get a certain amount of views or whatever, then sponsorships come into the show and whatnot. And once I bring in those kind of sponsors, then they split like a revenue. They have some kind of deal where they do that. But, you know, at this point, I'm just kind of building the show, because I think a lot of their shows have come and gone. They've kind of, you know, I think they're still kind of to see what has the right mix. I know, you know, a lot of the shows have been on for a while. Eric Roberts has had a show on there, you know, I think since the beginning, as well as I think Navarro and some of the others. But I think they're still kind of trying to get their niche and get everything together. I don't really know too much about, you know, the other shows or what, you know, how the other things work, but you know, it's a cool thing.
Yeah. Well, nevertheless, how do people see it again there, Bob?
TRadioV.com is the address.
Okay.
And if they want to go, if you go to the shows, you could go right to Inside Metal. It'll list all the different shows, and I think Inside Metal's at the bottom, and I just click on there, and it'll have the different episodes of shows. So there's no really easy, direct website I could say on hand. I can't say T-Radio. I don't think TRadioV/Inside Metal. I never tried that. Maybe that might work.
Sure.
But TRadioV.com will take you to the main page.
Nice. Well, Bob, I need to ask your opinion, because I'm always interested in what Bob Nalbandian thinks, since you're an important player in the world of music these days.
Speak, Mr. Neeley.
So what was your thoughts on Mark Striegel and joining us on the Classic Metal Show?
I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a great episode. And, you know what, dude, he's actually a real stand-up guy. I mean, I thought the things you did, particularly the early things you did about talking metal, was funny. And I thought the Ace and some of the bumpers were brilliant. And he thought so, too. He, you know, how, you know, I had was a guest on Talking Metal before all this came to. And, you know, he put up money into our fan back page when Chipster was sending out the press release and stuff about it. I see, you know, we got a donation from Mark Striegel. I go, wow, that's great. And then I see an email from him, and he kind of said, yeah, you know, I'd love to have you on the show. This movie sounds great, and blah, blah, blah. And he said something to the effect, yeah, I know, I've heard that you might not be really fans of ours, because people have said that you were on the Classic Metal Show and that you don't like this show or something like that. And he said, so if you don't want to be on the show, I understand. And I emailed back, I go, no, man, I'd love to come on. And, you know, I was honest. I said, yeah, you know, we had joked that we had, you know, made jokes and whatever. And I you know, I like, you know, the Classic Metal Show. They're friends. And he was saying that, yeah, he shot you an email, and that was the email that you read. And I said, well, that's cool. I said, that'd be great if you guys... But he really is a stand-up guy, and I told him, too. I always liked his interviews. I always thought he did some really good interviews. John was the one that was always kind of annoyed me when I always listened to Talking Metal. But in the beginning, I remember listening to a lot of the stuff that he did one-on-one with the artist, Mark Striegel. And they were really good. And I don't know John Strong. I mean, he might be a cool guy or whatever, but, you know, some of his stuff, you know, was annoying and fucking, you know, hilarious when he got drunk and they got drunk together. So, you know, I enjoyed the spoofs you did on them, and I told him that he had laughs too. He had a great sense of humor about it, as you said on your show. So yeah, but you know, he's a stand-up dude.
Well, were you surprised?
Yeah, but you know, like I said, I was kind of pre-warned, because he said that he had email. He actually said in the email, I was going to share it with you, Chris, but I wanted to be, because I knew he was going to be on your show after I heard it. But he had said, he goes, you know, I actually like the Classic Metal Show. He goes, Chris does some great interviews. And, so he did listen to your show. And and he even said in the email, he said, yeah, I thought the Ace thing was funny. So he didn't mind getting picked on. He goes, and he had said to me, which he had said on your show, I think, or on the email he said, I don't mind them poking fun at us. He said, that's cool. He said, where they kind of drew the line is where they involved my family, or they were making jokes about that. And he said, that kind of upset him. But he said, apart from them, poking fun, whatever. So
yeah, Chris, you
crossed
the line, man.
I've been crossing a lot of people's lines lately.
You guys draw the fucking line, dude.
Right. Well, I know that you had spoken with him, not recently, and he had mentioned that he had just spoken with you when he was on the show here a couple of weeks ago, and that's cool. But I thought it would have been funnier if he mentioned to you that I heard that you're friends with those guys at the Classic Metal Show, and you should have played it up like, yeah, well, at the risk of getting banned from ever being on their show again, I'm going to do your show.
Well, what was funny is, who was it? I think it was Red and Jerry that said, and you guys made a spoof on them because they were going to be on Talking Metal.
Right.
And he had shot me an email saying that. He goes, yeah, I'm sure Chris and Neeley are, and they're going to really, tear apart the show. And I said, yeah, I heard on their show talking about it. And I said, well, don't worry, because I'm going to be on Talking Metal coming up too, so they'll have a blast on spoofing on both of us. And so before my interviews and stuff came out, you already got Mark Striegel on your show, so it wasn't much of a surprise.
Yeah, well, Mark doesn't have much affection for me for some reason.
Well, you are an arrogant dick. Or what did he call you?
Arrogant prick. Get it right. Arrogant prick.
Yes. An uninformed, arrogant prick, or whatever it was.
Pathetic, and uninformed, and clueless.
I do have to agree with him there.
Man, you're hurting.
When a guy's right, he's right.
You're hurting my feelings, man.
I don't take it out on me, man.
As long as he knows who the great one is, it's all good.
Right. Well,
so you got Mr. Dokken going to be on live tonight?
Yeah,
huh?
He's going to call in at 10 o'clock Pacific time.
Dude, he was having a blast at the party. It seemed.
Yeah, Veronica was disappointed she didn't get to meet him or talk to him.
I don't know what her problem was. He was standing right there. I said, "Go up and talk to him. Go hang out." Nader was there. Dude, everyone was out hanging out there. It was a huge party, man. So, I introduced her to some people, but, it's not like Veronica shy. It's like, go up and talk to him, introduce yourself. You worked for Jeff Pilson. I would assume Don and Jeff are still friends.
Yeah, well, she said Ravinder was there. Is that true?
Who?
Ravinder Pilson, Jeff's wife.
Oh, someone told me that. I don't know who she is, but, yeah, I guess she was there, someone was saying.
Yeah, so she said, well, Don had he was holding court with his friends and people around him, and I didn't want to interrupt, and I didn't have a formal introduction, and he wouldn't know who I was, and, on and on. And I said, you should have just gone up there and told
Veronica, she's a whiny little bitch. And tell her I said that.
Right.
Not little.
Wait, you need me? She's like, Bob, you gotta introduce me to this deal. It's like, Veronica, why do I see that you don't have a hard time introducing yourself to people? Come on, you're the dominatrix.
Right.
The self-professed dominatrix. You can't introduce yourself to someone?
Sure. Well, Bob...
Yeah, she was having a good time, though.
Well, good. Excellent. Well, Bob, before we cut you off, I want to get your thoughts on the Phil Rudd situation.
You know who filled me in on Phil Rudd is your boy from Australia, Mr. Tim James.
Yeah.
Before Blabbermouth or any other news source came out, Tim James shot the news to me about, the initial news about him being arrested, and then the news that he was cleared. But, who knows what the real story is? I've never actually met Phil Rudd. Briefly met a couple of the other guys in AC/DC, but I mean, I didn't go see. I didn't have a chance. I've been so crazy this whole week. I didn't hear the story other than that he's been cleared. So, who knows if they jumped the gun? Who knows what was involved in it? If it was just a misunderstanding, or if it was, or if he paid someone off. Who fucking knows? But
right. Interesting choice of words, Bob. There, jumped the gun, huh?
Exactly.
Well, he was cleared of the murder for hire charges, but I think the drug charges are still pending.
And still some kind of conspiracy, some sort of murder charge is still out there too, but not the whatever the conspiring one. He's still got something about threatening to kill or something.
Yeah. Who was the guy? They don't say who the guy was who was threatening to kill.
Well, since he had the scoop, it was probably Tim James.
Well, I heard it wasn't a guy. It had something to do with a call girl or prostitution ring.
Wow.
So I think what it was, because apparently he spends quite a bit of money every year on Chris's favorite pastime. He pays them to go away.
Good for him.
And I guess there was some kind of a dispute there, and so he had to hire a bodyguard to probably kill the pimp if they came after him for the money that they felt that he owed them or something. I don't know.
Wow.
Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's some kind of extortion on some part. They found out he was in AC/DC, or they found out he had tons of money, so they tried to extort money from him. Who knows?
Sure.
It's I mean, it's hard to be. Isn't that sad? You can't even be inconspicuous with hookers anymore. What's left?
Oh, I'm not having any problem with
it. That's the whole idea. I mean, first, Heidi Fleiss is going to sell her black book, and now this. I mean, come on.
What's this world coming to, Bob?
Exactly. When you can't even, keep a secret, with a hooker.
Yeah, God damn it. Fucking bitches.
That's crazy, though. I mean, it's crazy because all this news about AC/DC, after Malcolm and now this, and,
Maybe it was just a mercy killing on Malcolm.
Could be. You never know.
Sure.
That could be what it was.
All right, Bob, we'll throw those plugs out there again. I guess you're finally lining up some shows for screenings around the country for the movie and obviously your TV show and all that stuff. So let people know where to find tickets and how to get to see the show and where you're having it and all that stuff, or how they can find out about it.
Yeah, well, the easy website is metalrockfilms.com. That'll lead you to the theater page where you can actually buy the tickets online. It'll give you a list of the theaters that it's playing, starting November 11th and up through the following weekend. And also on that page, metalrockfilms.com, you could go to our fan back page. I think we have a few days left on the fan back. I think we're up to about $13,000 or so we could definitely use a few more bucks if anyone wants to pitch in there, and we should be releasing the prizes and stuff real soon because I think there's about 8 or 9 more days left. And again, metalrockfilms.com, and then for the TV show, the Inside Metal TV show, it's at TRadioV.com. Dokken will be our guest this coming Tuesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time.
Excellent. Wow, look at you. You got a lot going on there. When do you have time to actually work a real job?
Dude, I don't, man. That's why I'm a broke fuck. That's why I need to beg for money.
You suffer for your craft.
Please give me money.
Right. Well, since you're friends with Mark Striegel, I'm sure he showed you all the ropes.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to call up Addermity.
Right. Yeah. Since you're friends with Michael Butler, I'm sure he could hook you up too.
I am, yeah. Michael Butler. I might have to give him a call.
Right.
Get some free dildos.
Hey, I could hook you up with those autographed by Steel Panther. I got a couple of those.
I heard, yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to go see the show Monday.
Oh, that's cool.
Steel Panther at Nokia, so
that'll be fun.
We'll see how it is. I haven't seen Priest yet with the new guy, so it should be interesting. We'll I don't know how well tickets have been selling, but I've been seeing them advertised on all these Groupon and coupon pages trying to get rid of the tickets, so can't be too great. But
the show I went to was half full.
Yeah, I heard that podcast. See, I listen to the CMS. I'm actually a listener.
Yeah, well, we're entertaining as fuck.
You are, man, and that last week's show was awesome.
Do you like
that? I do. I like when you guys talk, whether it be politics or social issues or just, shit about the music business and all that stuff. It's very entertaining and intriguing.
Right. Excellent, Bob. All right, Bob. Well, I'm gonna take us out of here with a song. I got a request in the request email. And maybe you might have a story involving UFO. You got any UFO stories at all, the band?
Dude, I love UFO. Well, what stories do I have about UFO? No, I mean, I saw them on the No Place to Run tour at Long Beach Arena, and I never saw them early on with Michael Schenker. I saw them when Schenker came back, and loved the band. I mean, one of my favorite bands. And I was into them long before Eddie Trunk, so I'm not pulling an Eddie Trunk by saying they're one of my favorite bands.
Sure.
But no, great band. I mean, way underrated. Phil Mogg, just an incredible vocalist and lyricist, and Michael Schenker, one of the best guitar players, and even the Michael Chapman years, man. No Place to Run and Wild, Willing, and Innocent, great albums.
You considered writing a book with this awesome story? Jesus.
Oh, okay. That's all right. Go ahead, play the song.
All right. Well, we got a request in the request email from Rock and Roll. I think he's in the chat room. Wanted to hear some UFO. Doctor, and he said, just play the damn song, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, shut that guy up and play the fucking song, would you?
All right, Bob. Well, good luck with all the stuff you got going on, and we'll check in with you again.
Very cool. Ask Don how he enjoyed the party on Thursday.
I will definitely do that.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right. Well, here it is. This is UFO with Doctor exclusively here. What, Bob?
On your classic metal show.